Okay, this is your guide, Yossi Newfield, to all things Jewish. I am going to be sharing with you today one of my prized possessions, which is this framed folio or sheet, one page from a Sefer HaMinhagim, which was written by Rabbi Yitzchak Tirna, Isaac Tirna, the famous author of the first compilation of customs on Ashkenaz Jewry, written in the mid-1500s. Now, what you see here, if you could zoom in a little bit, this page, this leaf from Sefer HaMinhagim, I believe, based on extensive research, this page was published in approximately the year 1717, which is about 300 years ago. Now, this Yiddish is written in Yiddish, printed in Yiddish. It is actually what we know today as Middle Yiddish. The Yiddish language comes down to us, just like French or other languages, in Old Yiddish, Middle Yiddish, and Modern Yiddish. And this 1717 would coincide with Middle Yiddish. Now, people living today that speak Yiddish will have a hard time reading this because Middle Yiddish is much closer to German in grammar and in syntax, etc. Modern Yiddish, as we know today, has more Hebrew in it and is more rabbinic in nature and less connected to the German grammar. So I brought this sheet to Borough Park where people speak Yiddish and read Yiddish, but when I show it to them, they have a hard time reading it. I'll just read one line to give you an idea. It says here, this page has two woodcuts, one connected with circumcision, bris milah. The second woodcut is from lighting the Hanukkah menorahs. Now, these are famous woodcuts. These two are part of these famous 42 woodcuts that were reprinted 200 times in Europe in this book, Sefer HaMinhagim. Now, just to give you an idea of the grammar, it says here, Ven ein zocher geboren veren, when one male born is. When one male born is. This is in connection with circumcision. Yiddish speakers today would not use this form of grammar. They would word it a little bit different. So it makes it a little tricky to understand this. Now, you may be asking, where did I find this piece of paper? It's approximately 300 years old. The answer is in a shul in Haifa, Israel, in the year 2000. I was rummaging around in the back of a synagogue in Haifa, where my yeshiva was located at the time, on Rehov Arlozorov, in the Nordo section of Haifa, in the lower part of the mountain. And I found in a Talmud, in a Gemara, this folio, this page. It was clear, I immediately recognized that this page came from the Sefer HaMinhagim. And I took the page back with me to America. This is about 20 years ago, and subsequently I had it framed to safekeep this. Now, I really should have written the year. Now, you may ask, how do I know what year this is? That's because I brought this piece of paper to JTS, the Jewish Theological Seminary, and I spoke with a head librarian named Schwartzberg, Jerry Schwartzberg, and he went behind the curtain, so to speak, at JTS, and he brought out for me 10 or 15 volumes, copies, editions of this Sefer HaMinhagim from the 16 and 1700s. And he put them on the table and he said, you figure out what year this is from. And I flipped through the 10 editions that he showed me, and it came out that, it seemed to me at least, that this folio was closest in nature to the edition printed in Germany in the year 1717. Now, what's important about Sefer HaMinhagim, because he I said Yitzchak Tirna, Isaac Tirna, was the first rabbi to compile all the customs, the general customs for the year, for the Jewish year, and he had a tremendous influence on all later halachic decisors and rabbinic rulings in connection with Ashkenaz Jewry. The only thing is, the original Sefer HaMinhagim by Tirna was written in Hebrew, not Yiddish, but that Hebrew was too difficult for the average non-yeshiva person, for the layman, so it was translated into Yiddish and in a way somewhat simplified for the average reader. So a lot of the sources were taken out. But this is basically one of my most prized possessions. Again, it's about 300 years old. The woodcuts, you see here the two woodcuts. This one is of circumcision,